How's it going, everyone? This is George, aka Hypothetical YGO, and today I actually want to bring you guys my new deck that I've been playing. I've been playing Phantom Knights as of late, and I'd like to bring you guys my deck profile for it. I've been playing a lot of locals. I finally got the inner workings of the deck. For those of you that actually follow me on Twitch, you know I've been having a little bit of a struggle learning this, but now I think I have it down to the point where I could really explain how this deck runs and everything, so I can actually help you guys learn this. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and go over the deck. For the main deck, we're at 43 cards in the main. The reason why is because I kind of just wanted space for some more extenders, see my level 3s, and to see my bricks less. And I definitely achieved that with the amount. So right now we're on, for the Phantom Knight cards, we are on 3 copies of Torn Scales. This just dumps cards into the grave. This is really your main starter. This is the best starter. It's Imperm and Valor are less effective against it, so, and sometimes Ash, depending on what your discard is. Then for the one to pair it with, we are on 3 copies of Boots. Silent Boots, if you control Phantom Knight, you can special summon this card from your hand, so that's why we're on 3 copies of it. It just acts as an extender, and also a starter, because you can use this, special summon any one of your extenders, and then go ahead and send, or off your Cherubini, you can send a Torn Scales, banish this, summon like your Cherubini, add like a Shade Brigandine or something, make your Bardiche, and then go off from there. So that's just one of the plays you can do. Then we are on 2 copies of Cloak. The reason we are on only 2 and not 3 is because opening this card in multiples isn't super good. You'd rather send this off your Torn Scales or off your Cherubini rather than opening it. But it's still not a bad card to open. It pairs well with Boots because it's another level 3, and on top of that it's a Phantom Knight's name. Then we are on 1 Gloves and 1 Greaves. Greaves has utility to summon from hand or summon a Phantom Knights from hand, and then Gloves can dump any Phantom Knights card, so it just comes up in the grind game. You can always summon this back off of Leviair if you need it. I don't see the point in playing 2, just because, once again, as long as you're careful with your resources, you can just summon this back off of Leviair and then dump like a Fog Blade to revive something if you need it. So that's it for the Phantom Knight cards in the main. Next, for the other starter, we are on 3 copies of Tour Guide, and then the 1 Graph and the 1 Seer. I know some people have been cutting this, but I still like it because you can just make the board absolutely insane with this. Tour Guide being able to summon Graph, and then you have one other extender. You can make the Appaloosa before even going into your Bardiche. So there's so many different things you could do from there. That's why I like this package. So, and plus, since we are making the Appaloosa board and not the Scythe board, that's why I prefer the play this package. Next, for extenders, we are on 2 Junk Forward. If you control no monsters, you can special summon it from hand. It's a level 3, so it's really nice. 2 Kakamucha Knight to go ahead and chain block something like Tour Guide. The reason why we're on 2 and not 3 of this is because Imperm is still a very strong card in the format, and so is Valor. So with those being strong cards in the format, I prefer to only play 2 because regardless, they're probably still going to Imperm your Tour Guide anyway. Cycle through the deck a little bit. We have Danger Such, Tsuchinoko, and Jackalope. If this is discarded, you summon the Jackalope. If this is discarded, you summon the Tsuchinoko. If the Tsuchinoko is discarded, you summon itself, and then they do have the danger effects in hand. Then we are on 1 Psychic Tracker, 1 Psychic Wielder. We are not playing Ghost Ogre in this build, and the reason why is because I wanted to once again reduce the amount of bricks. The problems that I was having with this deck in the early stages is that I was playing a lot of bricks, or I was running into the issue where I was drawing too many bricks, so that was one of the ones that I decided to cut. Next, for hand traps, we are on 3 copies of Ash Blossom, and 3 copies of Nibiru. We're going to stack them on top of each other, just because I want to talk about the Ash. This is probably the weakest hand trap this format, which is very, very odd. But we're in kind of an interesting format, pretty diverse, but every deck gets hit by Crow or Lancia of some sort or something else. So I kind of want to swap out the Ash for probably Crow in the main and then move this over to the side instead. That's probably what I'm going to do, just because Ash is the least useful. And in cases where Ash would be useful, Imperm and Valor are also useful, which I'm already siding anyway. Nib, though. Nib, I think I'm going to keep in. I like having the hand traps going second, because also if I nib the opponent and they can still set up and my hand sucks, I can go ahead and I can blind scoop, and then game 2, I can play some mind games. They think I might be on back row. They might think I'm on like something like normal summon Alistair or whatever, so it'll change up their siding strategy, and then I'll actually be on Phantom Knights. The reason why I'm not on Droplets in the main is because Droplets is such a neg sometimes to out a board that I don't think it's worth it. And that's the same with Dark Ruler. Dark Ruler, I would like to have the ability to OTK my opponent real quickly instead of try and force a grind game. So that's why I'm on Nib in the main right now. Plus, Nib actually is not terrible. If they don't get to Chowfang right away, you can Nib. In the Sword Soul matchup, if they get to Protoss on like their 5th summon, you can Nib, so you don't have to deal with Protoss in this deck, which is massive. And then on top of that, this actually works against Sky Strikers. Sky Strikers actually playing a Nib now, so that's why I have that in the main. Then we have our other 2 bricks. We have Destiny Hero Dasher and Destiny Hero Celestial for the draws and the occasional summon from hand. Dasher is insanely important. You can go ahead and just summon stuff from hand, make a break sword, pop 2 cards on the opponent's field, and then later in your turn on the crackback normal summon. So Dasher being able to help you do that is insane. And then Celestial draw 2. It is literally Pot of Greed. Next, we are onto spells. We're not playing too many of them because once again this is Phantom Knights, but we are on 2 copies of E-Telly for our extenders such as the Psychic Monsters. So Tracker and Wielder, being able to summon those out for free is really nice. Then we are on 2 copies of Fusion Destiny. Hard opening this is perfectly fine. It's not like Red Eyes Fusion where you activate it and your turn stops. You can do your entire plays prior and then activate this later. The reason we're on 2 and not 3 is because I don't own 3. So that's why we're on that. And then for our one-ofs, we have 1 Rhoda, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, and 1 Monsterborn. Monsterborn is the single best one of this format. Being able to get rid of your opponent's Phoenix Enforcer, Monsterborn it, set up your own Phoenix Enforcer, have double DPE on the field is absolutely insane. Being able to Monsterborn like a Ray and play with it, being able to do so many things with Monsterborn is absolutely insane. It works in mirror matches. There's so many cards. You can reborn like a Link 2 or Link 3, Link Climb into Access Code with it. You can do so many things. This card is absolutely busted, and it is so good in this deck. Feather Duster, I think, is a decent card this format in general. The reason why I say that is because you have a lot of back row to actually deal with. So you have Fog Blades to deal with. You have Blackouts to deal with. You have Sky Striker back row to deal with. So there's a lot of things, and Feather Duster as a one-up just kind of clears all of that. So that's why I like it. And then Rhoda, obviously, you have so many different warriors in the deck that you want to search out. Then finally for our traps, we're on 3 copies of Fogblade, 1 copy of Wings, and 1 copy of Shade. So that's really it for the trap. Shade helps you go ahead and Link Climb later. It's also really nice to use on the crackback because stuff like Unicorn doesn't require effect monsters, so you can go ahead and summon this. Wings and Fogblade just being able to summon other monsters. Plus Wing has utility as well on field. You can target a Phantom Knights, or you can target a monster you control. It gains 500 attack. Also, the first time it would be destroyed by battle or card effect this turn, it is not destroyed. So it's basically a True Draco diagram for any monster that you want to protect. So say you want to protect your Appaloosa or whatever you can. Next, we are on to our extra deck. For our extra deck, we are on 1 Cherubini, 1 Bardiche, pretty standard combo starters. For our other links, we're on 1 Nightmare Unicorn. One of my favorite plays to do with this deck, going second, is to make Cherubini, Graph Effect, Summon Seer, link that and your Seer into a copy of Unicorn, bring back the Cherubini, spin something back to deck, then you're free to play with your Bardiche. Super useful play, and I don't think I'm ever going to be cutting the Unicorn from this deck, ever. Then we are also on Appaloosa and our Access Code Talker. The reason why we are on Access Code Talker and not like a one-punch situation is because I like to be able to clear a board that is established with Access Code, and being able to boost it with the Unicorn or the Appaloosa is very useful, because this plus this is pretty much game, especially if you boost this by 800 with the Cloak effect. But the Appaloosa, this is a part of the M board. We are not on Artifact Scythe in this package. If you want to win with the deck and you want to do and you're trying to win a YCS, you should be playing Artifact Scythe. However, I enjoy playing it this way. I like playing it this way, so I'm going to. And I think the Appaloosa board is still pretty solid regardless. So that's why we're on that. And that's it for the links. We're only playing 5 link monsters. This is not 2019 where your deck has to be links. Next, for XZs, we're on double Breaksword, and then double Leviair. Sag that we have a common and a super, but it's fine. Our rarities are kind of mismatching all over the place anyway. Breaksword, double Breaksword comes up in a grind, and so does double Leviair. Leviair just being able to recur so many banished resources is super nice, and then Breaksword being able to get like a double pop, and then go from there. Plus, you can go if you have DPE. And your Bardiche on board, you can go ahead and go. And you summon this back. You can go ahead and go battle phase, you make this. You can go ahead and go battle phase. You go ahead and go attack with this. Activate like a set fog blade or something. Target your Breaksword on res. Attack with your Bardiche. Attack with your DPE. And then still in battle phase, you go DPE effect. Pop your Breaksword. Breaksword effect. Target the 2 monsters attached to it. Summon them back. And then you go ahead and activate the Fog Blade, summon back the Breaksword for game. So that comes up a ton when it comes to going for game. Next, for the generic XZs, we have 1 Evil Swarm Nightmare, 1 Downerd, and then 1 Zeus. This is in here for Crooked Cook. I'm just kidding. No one is on that dog water. So I don't think I'm ever going to see Crooked Cook in my life. But if I do, this comes up. Plus, it makes a 4 material Zeus and can clear like a Protoss or something. So that's why we're on that. Then Evil Swarm Nightmare. Basically, for those of you that don't know what this card does, is when your opponent special summons a monster or monsters, except during the damage step, you can quick effect, detach a material, flip it face down. That is not once per turn. And the reason why we are on this and not something like Dweller is because if you go Breaksword pop itself, and then special back 2, you have to go ahead and go. You have to overlay them into Nightmare because it's dark. You're locked into darks at that point. Plus, this is just really solid, this format. Being able to flip like a 10E monster face down, and then they can't use it for synchro plays is really nice. Then, of course, Zeus to clear boards, and then, like I said, Downer to give it another material. So that's why we're on all that. Then finally, pretty obvious, since we're on Fusion Destiny, we're playing Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, Link Spider, Anaconda, Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. This deck can play through 2 hand traps and still set up DPE. You just make the Nib token into Link Spider and then make the Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, or you turn your Shade Brigadine into Link Spider to make Anaconda, then Phoenix Enforcer. There's a lot of things you could do, but this card is absolutely insane, and the cards that you can use with it give you so much utility in the game that are just absolutely busted. So that's it for the 15 card extra deck. And then finally we're on to the side deck. And for the sides, we are on 3 copies of Droll. Sadly, I'm not drawing this card as much as I wish to, but in matchups that I would like to see it, I like to see it invoked Dogmatica. I'd like to see it in pretty much any search heavy deck. So anything like Lyrilusk, Tri-Brigade is really nice. The only time this really doesn't come in is against the mirror match, because Droll isn't doing anything against the mirror match. So that's the only time. Something that will come in against the mirror match is Artifact Lancia. This card is really solid this format. Being able to use it against something like Sword Soul, so they can't banish their 10E monsters. Being able to use it against something like, once again, the mirror match, Lyrilusk, so that they can't use the Tri-Brigade effects, is really solid. So you have to play 3 Lancia. Now, this is where this build kind of gets a little bit wonky. We're on 2 copies of Imperm, 2 copies of Valor. The reason why we're on this is because I wanted to see this hand trap a good bit. Imperm, the reason why I wanted to play 2 Valor to Imperm is because I wanted to see this, and I wanted the utility of Imperm, but the issue is that it's a trap card, so you get locked out of using Shade Brigadier, which comes up more often than you would think. So that's why I kind of wanted to play it at this ratio. Plus, being able to set the impermanent pass in like his column, and then your opponent activates a spell card, moves it because it's Zodiac Mech Knight Barrage, and then yeah. But I really like this ratio. I'm probably gonna change it though. I'm probably just gonna play just the Veilers because once again the imperms definitely conflict, or I will play droplets, but I like the ability for the hand traps because once again this deck really is hard countered by Source Hold. Then we are on 2 copies of DD Crow. The reason we are on 2 copies of DD Crow, this card is absolutely insane in this format. This is going to be bumped up to 3, and then I'm going to put 2 Ash in the side deck, I think is how I'm going to change it. Crow is one of the best hand traps right now, and I think this has a lot more utility than Ash right now, so that's what I'm going to end up doing. Finally, we are on 2 copies of Twin Twisters and 1 copy of Red Reboot. The reason why we are on 2 Twin Twisters and not 2 Cosmic is because people are counter-siding Lancia in. And the reason why, and that really shuts down Cosmic, I've had it come up where I've actually put up against Zombie World Rivalry, or Zombie World. My opponent activated Zombie World, set a card, passed. I went to Cosmic, they're set, it was Rivalry, they chained Lancia, and then I normal summoned something, they activate Rivalry. I lost that game because I physically could not play through it. So that's why we are playing that the way we are. However, I really do enjoy this deck. I think that is the best list that I have available to me right now that I actually enjoy playing. Because once again, I do not enjoy playing Artifact Scythe, plus that gives you another brick in the deck, plus that's not something you really want to draw anyway. So I think this deck is pretty solid right now. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like down in the, or leave a like down below. Go ahead and comment, hit the subscribe button, and join the Discord. We have a lot of really cool people in the Discord, and I constantly do viewer duels, and I stream 4 times a week now on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So go ahead and check that out. Anyways, go ahead and click the links down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.